The maiden goddess arises as we focus on the return of Persephone from the land of the dead. Follow her sacred journey from springtime to springtime as you imagine yourself to be part of the matrix of nature. Imagine that you are the beginnings of a flower. You are a tightly wrapped bud. Your petals are closed, protected by a shield of green leaves, hugging you closely in a fierce embrace. The sun radiates its fiery brilliance, and the days are growing longer and longer. You are bathed in the light and caressed by gentle breezes. The rain falls softly upon you. You remain tight and closed as a fist, longing to stretch out as the days lengthen. The sun continues to shine, and the nourishing rains continue to tenderly fall. You feel yourself expanding from within, and you burst forth through the firm green leaves. Your colorful petals extend outward to greet the welcoming sun as it rises through the cool morning air. You stretch out and sigh, glistening with drops of dew. Light pours down upon you. You feel yourself swell and open even further, releasing an attractive fragrance and reveling in your loveliness. You are surrounded by luscious perfume. The enticing aroma wafts through the air, and the attraction begins. Insects fly to you, descending upon your velvety petals. They inhabit you, crawling upon you and within you. They are the catalyst for your complete transformation. You begin to swell and grow from the inside. Your petals begin to wither. One by one they fall away and drift to the ground below. You are swollen with liquid and a growing potential for total change. You are transforming from flower to fruit and hang heavier and heavier on the vine. The winds blow and you slowly sway in the breeze. The sun streams down, but somehow less so. The nights are growing longer, and your branch begins to weaken. A sudden gust of wind overtakes you, and you have suddenly broken free of the branch. You feel suspended in time, free falling and spinning in slow motion. Air passes over you as you move through it until you finally contact the soft earth waiting patiently below. You roll a small distance and then come to a complete stop. You lie there motionless, slowly softening and fermenting. Your skin begins to loosen as your internal moisture is gradually absorbed by the earth upon which you rest. Little by little and day by day, you are increasingly becoming one with the earth. Every day you sink a little bit deeper into her soft and welcoming soil. Every passing day you resemble your former self less and less. As time passes, you dissolve completely into the earth, sinking deep beneath the surface with every rainfall. Nights lengthen. The sun shines for you less and less. You are no longer large, soft, or ripe, but tiny and hard and sleeping within the sacred ground upon which you once lay. Snow begins to fall. At first it seems mild and soft, but as the long nights progress, you find yourself increasingly buried deep within a winter blanket of shimmering frost. The long sleep has begun. You are unmoving and silent, fast asleep far beneath layers and layers of frozen ice. In complete darkness you lie, knowing that from full blossom to burgeoning fruit, your life incarnation is nothing less than sheer potential for new life, waiting to unfold. Time passes. Days begin to lengthen. The ice gradually begins to melt into small flowing rivulets. The streams run over you and through you. You are now saturated with water. It is all around you, permeating every part of your being. You begin to swell larger and larger until your cellulose sarcophagus can no longer contain you. You reach deep into the earth, sending a tiny new root downward, relishing the moisture and taking in the rich nutrients from the soil. You pull them into yourself and start to send the energy upwards. You burst forth into the light of day in a shiny green shoot, relishing the light that you have not seen for so long. You stretch out and reach upwards to the streaming sun, uncurling perfect new baby green leaves. You take in the energy from the sun and transform it into growth. You reach higher and higher, simultaneously sending your roots deeper and deeper into the earth. You are connected to both the earth and the sky, the perfect balance of thriving life in between the worlds. Days begin to lengthen once again. You grow stronger and thicker. The wind that once wreaked havoc on your tender form now feels like a gentle caress against your strengthening trunk. You are ready to expand. You separate yourself into branches, sending out fresh green shoots in all directions, reaching ever skyward. Rain that once threatened to beat you down is now a delightful elixir, enabling you to continue your rapid growth. Your leaves are now a lush bounty, covering every branch and twig with shining green. You feel the wind in 1,000 ways. Your complex root system knows the depths of the earth intimately. The sun is your best friend, enabling you to turn energy into life force. In addition to the abundance of leaves, you begin to form buds, exactly like you once were. You explode in the full flora of spring, perfuming the air, enticing all things that fly to take refuge in your branches and blossoms. Not just a miracle of creation in your own right, you are now the shelter and support for other living creatures. Squirrels leap playfully from branch to branch. Birds make their homes in your limbs as you cradle and protect their woven nests. You are heavy with fruit that will all too soon fall to the ground with the promise of beginning the sacred cycle all over again. Nights begin to turn cold, and the bright daylight that gave you fortitude begins to slowly fade into twilight. The twilight lingers longer than before and seems to come on sooner. The wind against which you once held strong now begins to strip you of your leaves. The shining green gives way to a burst of fire as you turn golden hues of amber and deep reds. The leaves spiral downward, buffeted by the wind as they make the journey to the ground below, covering the earth in a glorious mantle of autumn. You stand naked and alone against the coming cold, bracing yourself for the approaching storms. Your branches are now completely bare. The birds that once found refuge in your boughs have all left for warmer climates. In the enfolding darkness you wait, warmed only by the precociously short days when the sun tries to break through the consuming cold. You know that you have moved far from the sun, but you also hold the promise of the sun's return. Patiently, you wait. Your exposed branches are vulnerable to the frozen waters that once ran over you, now clinging to your limbs in crystalline icicles. You lie fallow and wait. Beneath the bare branches is green wood. You sleep in the mere illusion of death, life patiently waiting for the right time to emerge. You know that the earth is continuing her journey around the sun, slowly bringing you back to the place and time of fruition. You have not moved, but you have changed in 1,000 ways. The ice begins to melt. Sunlight keeps you company more and more. The seemingly unending darkness begins to recede. One day, a person approaches you. She bows before you in reverence, placing herbs and crystals at the base of your form. In a smooth motion, this person raises a small scythe over her head and cleanly cleaves one of your small lower branches from you in a smooth stroke. She pauses for a moment, singing a low chant, and bends to touch you and sit with you a while. Instinctively you know the purpose of this deed. The reverence with which the cut was made, the offering placed before you, can only mean one thing: that this person has utmost respect for the thousands of changes you have endured. She understands the darkness and the light, the passage of time, the abundance and the emptiness, the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. By taking a small piece of you, she is taking a potent reminder of this entire spectrum of your existence. You stretch and smile. As the sun drops beneath the horizon and twilight descends, a witch goes home to build and consecrate a wand. Spring is coming. It is almost time to grow again.